What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is down 8.19%, largely piggybacking off of the fear in the broader market. Although there was some data that did come out that is going to be really impacting Opendoor, which I'll go over in a second. But 623 the low, 680 for the high, and very low volume. So 50.5 million shares being traded, 242 is the average. So when it comes down to Opendoor, I've been very vocal in saying that it is a very big momentum play. And lately, it's not been getting nearly enough volume. So of course, with a momentum play, not getting a lot of capital coming in, you're going to be at the mercy of the broader market. And of course, shorts have been really holding on as well. So even at the time of doing this video, shorts are increasing 1.18 million shares, 21.7% of the free float is being shorted. Works to be 153.9 million shares overall are being shorted. So shorts have been holding on, and I think generally they kind of are waiting for big data. So we have a lot of big data coming out Thursday, Friday, but even today there was some data that's not really the best for Opendoor. So starting off, we did have this. So canceled home purchase deals rise in September. So over 53,000 US home purchase agreements, 15% of contracts were canceled in September, up 13.6% a year ago. You couple that with the data that just came out, which was the MBA purchase index, and that did come in at 157. So you can kind of see just the trend is going lower and lower. So of course, that goes to show a lot of people aren't really out there getting mortgages. So this is very, very impactful to Opendoor's business. So even though a lot of people out there are saying, hey, Opendoor's a screaming buy, the real estate market is just booming, a lot of data so far is saying otherwise. And one thing as well that you don't really see is Kaz not really posting anything, no member of Opendoor really posting anything. And it looks like Eric is on vacation. And even aside from that, prior to that, he seemed all over the place, not really focusing on Opendoor. So you're having a momentum play with no real kind of leader, if that kind of makes sense. So in my opinion, I think that Opendoor is losing momentum, and it will regrettably kind of continue to go down a little bit more. So I'm going to go over some of the technicals and so forth, but at the same time today the broader market is selling off because of Netflix. So some analysts brought to light how Netflix's margins aren't the greatest, and so that is kind of prompting a lot of fear. As far as Opendoor, nothing really for news or any SEC filings, so it's largely just piggybacking off of the broader market. Aside from all of that, looking at the options, we are seeing 11 million in calls, 3.5 in puts. 50% of all the options being done today are bearish in nature. Coming from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $7 range to $7.50, so good amount of optimism is still on the table. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub $6. So I think bears are anticipating maybe some more misses coming from companies unveiling their earnings, because like I said, Thursday, Friday, we have big data, but we also do have a lot of big companies coming out today after hours, Tesla, and then tomorrow we have a lot of other big companies that is going to most likely move the broader market. Today on the secondary market, you are seeing a fair amount of buying and also selling, so it's somewhat evenly divided. So one of the biggest things for today is algorithmic trading as well as shorts. So a couple of things right here. This is the one big transaction that did really push it lower first thing. That was $3.89 million. And so that was done at looks like 672. And then these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. So given the fact that shorts are fairly active, it is fair to assume that most of these are correlated with shorts in one way or another. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from that, with it at 641, it is trading between this S2 and this S3. So in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks and momentum plays, Opendoor is lagging. And I think that's been kind of the case for a while, because I've been very vocal, like I said, about the volume, on how you need a lot of volume. And ever since it looks like the 15th, things just dropped like crazy. So it could definitely pick back up. It doesn't take all that much. All you need is a good catalyst and something just to really incentivize institutions to start really paying attention to Opendoor. But with Beyond Meat and some other hot stocks right now squeezing, I think Opendoor is just kind of being left on the sidelines. But right now, 618 is going to be that strong support, 660 followed by 686 being the next strong target / resistance point. So when it comes down to it, not necessarily the best. And for those of you that actually watch a lot of my Opendoor videos, you know I'm not here to hype you up, nor am I here to bring you down. All I'm doing is interpreting the data. And in my opinion, I think just for a while now, a lot of the data has signaled that it's kind of going lower. There's a lot of good catalysts coming up, such as potential rate cuts in the foreseeable future, also their earnings, but that is not right now. So the market's kind of just doing its own thing a little bit. Popping over here on the actual chart, as of today, it is breaking below that 50-day moving average. And generally that is a very big deal. And you do need 2 consecutive days to really signal a trend. So hopefully it does recover above that 50-day moving average, which is at 680, because that would be best case scenario. But that is also going to place a lot of importance on tomorrow, because if it does close below that, then you could see some very serious push lower. And I know that is going to really hurt the sentiment a little bit more. And with Eric on vacation, there's not really anyone to really do anything to really hype up investors again. So that's just my opinion. Of course, might be unpopular opinion, but looking at the market position for today, comparing it to yesterday, not really too much. You see a little bit more willing buyers, more around that $5 range, but mostly it's just kind of just moving a little bit lower. So I think a lot of this has to do with algorithmic trading, which is very clear from the flow right here. Just a lot of algos are active from the smaller transactions right over here. But aside from that, there hasn't really been all that much in real articles talking about Opendoor or anything like that. So like I said, if you do believe in Opendoor, take advantage, buy the dip, do what you need to do, or potentially look at options, whether you are bullish or bearish. But I think generally options are kind of a very good way to make some very good money. Again, if you are bullish or bearish, because for instance, if you would have bought a put yesterday, you'd be up, even though the stock price went down 7.6% right now, you'd be up a solid like 50-60% at least. And then flip side, during days like this, if you still have a lot of good conviction and you do believe in Opendoor, look at buying a long call. That's how you also do make a lot of very serious money. Whenever you bet against what is happening in the broader market, that's how you make some good return on investments. So let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Do you still believe it? Did you cycle out to Beyond Meat? What's your kind of general thoughts on all of that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.